Good morning, everybody. On the West Coast, it is 9:04 a.m. in the morning. How's everybody doing? I'm sure on the East Coast, it is, in the Midwest, is probably your lunchtime, no doubt. Uh, Not expecting much for people, much for people to come up, but if you'd like to come up and join and share your comments, feel free to do so. I'm your host. Everybody loves Juju. 1 2 Talk Soup. My name is Juju. Julie, if you really want to know my real name, I have no problem with it. Look it up, Google it, chat GBT it. Um, I'm coming from you as a storyteller, as a digital creator, content creator for women's hoops, with at least 50 years of women's basketball experience and knowledge and following and so on and so forth. I've seen the greats, played with even some of the greats. Um, Not officially D1. I was a two-sport athlete, so I chose to compete in both. Therefore, at the time in the 80s, it would be very difficult, not impossible, if I had gone to probably would have had to stay. For me, would have been in California, stay at one of a California D1 team. They had their guards already, but it's all good. Uh, Met them all, know them, feel good about what I accomplished in my career. So my knowledge is coming from experience that is experiential. Is actually I don't even know if that's a word, but it came to mind. It's coming from real experience. Um, so here we are. Uh, as you know, I'm a Chosen fan. I have other teams that I follow and I watch. I love all the teams. I just love basketball. I could turn it on and find something to see in whatever game I'm looking at. Sometimes it can be quite boring, or for me, especially blowouts. But then there's sometimes where I'm looking at it from an angle of like of the upcoming awards, upcoming March Madness. Making sure that there's no sleepers or Cinderella teams that can catch you off guard, um, and so on and so forth. So uh, today we have this Thursday top as far as the let's see top 25 teams that are playing. We have Mississippi State against number 15, Tennessee Vows at 3:30 on the SEC Plus Network, followed by Texas, Florida, and the SEC Plus Network. How's that going at the same time? 4 p.m. Then there's Arkansas, LSU, 5 p.m., same network, and followed by 5 p.m. Louisville, Stanford, at 5 p.m. Wisconsin, Ohio State, 5 p.m. on the Big Ten networks. That's a Big Ten team. South Carolina will be playing Auburn today at 6 p.m. on SEC Network. Iowa, USC on Peacock. You can catch that on Peacock. Kansas, TCU will be ESPN. Michigan State, Purdue, 3 p.m. BTN. Alabama, Georgia, 24 and 23 team. That should be an exciting game. That should be an exciting game, actually, because they're so closely ranked. Michigan, Indiana still could be challenging for Michigan. Who knows? 4 p.m. Peacock. Texas A&M, Oklahoma, 4 p.m. Oklahoma is currently 10th ranked, and Duke 20th ranked against Miami. And I see Miami play some hoops the other night. Really close battle that they had. I can't remember who it was against, but they were in it. They were in it. And that's the thing right now. We're at the end of January. Next up is February. In February, for instance, the Trojans have just 7 games in February before 1 game in March before the Big Ten Conference. And I'm sure other leagues have the same similar. Um, and right now, what do I think? What do I think about what's happening in January? Um, I think a lot of teams. I believe that a lot of games are close in the beginning. I think they're close in the beginning, and a lot of teams are fighting down to the wire that ordinarily you might think. For instance, UCLA and Illinois. If you didn't see that game, they were a lot closer. Illinois was a lot closer to the Trojans. I mean, excuse me, the Bruins than the Trojans were. And I think that has a lot to do with there's more film out to scout. And as teams have more tape out on them, there's more chance of games being a lot closer than they would have, as long as they have the ability, talents, and they play their cards right, right? So I think that's what you're saying. I think when you see, like, well, why is this, you know, second or third or fourth or fifth, sixth, seven, eight ranked team struggling with a team that's not ranked or a team that's um, in the middle of the pack of the top 25 or the end of the pack. And I think it just has a lot to do with, well, there's more film out there. And so, but I don't think teams like, for instance, South Carolina, UConn, UCLA, or Texas, I don't think you're seeing everything that's in their toolbox. I think they're all have not shown you all of their plays, so to speak, if you know what I mean. I don't think you've seen it. I think there's still some that they have yet to showcase, because obviously you don't want to show it all until it's really needed. So that's my take on why it's close. I don't think it necessarily always means something is going on with the players or the team. And in some cases, yes, it is that. We do have some injuries for whatever reason. I know AZ Foot did not have a good shooting night. I don't know. I think she finally broke it open towards the end, but her teammate Ali Zabel had an amazing night, 10 threes, fourth ranked in the UConn history. Familiar with Maya Moore. She's done it 10 times. I'm familiar with, what's my favorite player? She's from Cali too. Kalina Mosqueda Lewis. Yes. Because Kalina Mosqueda Lewis. I said Maya Moore. Now Ali. And I think there's one more I might be missing that has had 10 threes for UConn. She was balling. It was just falling for her, which is scary because you had Blanca Quinones that was out. You had about 4, 5, 6 of their players out, and for them, although it was not a ranked team they were playing, they showed their depth. They showed you that. For instance, you hadn't even really paid attention to Ali Zabel. Now, just imagine in the championship game, something happens to, God forbid, AZ Foot, and you have a shooter like that on your bench. She may not make 10, but if she makes 5, you got a problem. So they kind of highlighted and showcased their depth last night is what I picked up from it. What's up, Farrell? UCLA's in a league of their own in the Big Ten. Sure they are. Core players. They have solid core group. Been together at least 3 years, some 4, I believe. Together, 7 seniors. I was saying something about UCLA this morning on Twitter or not Twitter. It was on Instagram. I commented, and I was saying that like people are sleeping on them. They're feeling like they're, a non-factor in the race for a championship. They feel that whatever they feel, regarding their coach, their players, I think that's the best place to be in when people doubt you, people overlook you. People downplay what what you have to bring to the table. Um, and I think UCLA is in a great position because of it. I wouldn't even, if I was Corey, I wouldn't even be trying to seek attention. I wouldn't even seek attention. Attention was given to them before, and what happens is hope deferred made the heart sick. People were hoping, and their heart got sick. They put them in the spotlight to be considered a threat, and they didn't come through. This year they've added Gianna Neekins, they've added Charlize Ledger Walker, they've added Sienna Betts, while losing Tamia Gardner. And so with a healthy Kiki Rice, I think Kiki Rice is balling right now. I actually think she's right where she was predicted to be, coming out second in her class, behind Lauren Betts. Lauren Betts is still probably one of the best defenders in the Big Ten. Still 6'7". That ain't changed. Still one of the big, probably the biggest big in the country, in my opinion, at her height, or any height of that, for that matter. So don't sleep on UCLA. Don't do that. Don't count them out, because with a group like that have been together, and they know that this is their last hurrah together, they're going to walk away with chips on the table. They're going to walk away. They if I were them, I would be like, we got to lay it all out. We have to lay it all out on the court. You got to leave everything out on the court, because they have the chance to win it all, just like anybody else at the top does, in my opinion. So, keep on, mocking and making fun. If I would use that as motivation, if I was a Bruin, and while everybody's battling at the top, trying to take it all, they're gonna slip through and slide through. So we got number 1 UConn, number 2 UCLA, number 3 South Carolina, number 4 Texas. That's what's been kind of like flip-flopping, except for UConn, right? But here's the difference. I was looking at the UConn South Carolina game, both of them, and the difference maker with South Carolina this year, in order to make it not a blowout, in my opinion, is that they beefed up their interior front court. They beefed it up because Jana Alfie was killing them inside. There wasn't no one to stop her. You had Chloe Kitts, and you didn't have Chloe Kitts and Joyce Edwards on the court at the same time. So you had lost, Ashton Watkins. Adele Tack wasn't fully healthy. Dowda couldn't handle it. Now you have Okot, Alicia Turnabine, Joyce Tack to come in and beat you. You beefed up your front court, in other words. So, but it's still a mismatch there with Sarah Strong, Alfie. I'm trying to think. Blanca Quiones, and in the outside shooting of Shade, really easy Fudd, and now let's throw in Ali Zabel if he wants to bring her off the bench. So, what say you? Let's see. What say you? Let's see. Chicago, UCLA is not better than Texas. Their record shows that they are, or the evaluators say that they are. So let's just say we don't know if they're better than Texas. They lost to Texas in November, but we don't know what that looks like. Here we are, January, February, right? Farrell says UCLA is not better than South Carolina. They haven't played either, right? UCLA is not even better than the team they knocked out of the Elite Eight last year, my Tigers. Okay, you gotta show it. You gotta show it. The Huskies had a player come off the bench last night and put 10-3. I already said that. Ali Zabel. Call her by her name. Call her by her name. Number 11, Ali Zabel, 10 threes. Regardless of who they're playing, you still got to put the ball in the basket. 10 threes is not something that needs that. She's in there with the greats of Kalina Mosqueda Lewis, Maya Moore, now her, and I can't remember the fourth. So, like I said, we could say that you could say, and I get it. You're a faithful of you're standing by your team, and you're going to say they can't do this and they can't do that. But in basketball sense, let's talk about matchups. Like, what about we're talking about the Huskies and we're talking about UCLA. What about your team that you feel matchup wise that you have that is better, that can beat the Huskies? Let's just start there. UCLA is not even better than it. Oh, no. The Huskies had a player come off the bench. Yep, said that. Huskies got 9 players right now. Yeah, but that's temporary though, Farrell. You've had the same thing earlier this year with the Gamecocks. That's temporary right now. Those injuries that are listed. I think Blanca's ankle. I mean, we're talking about way in March. Ain't nobody gonna, unless it's not even a third degree sprain, which I had, and I came back in 2 weeks, but with treatment, nobody's torn anything. Nobody's permanently out. So I think the Trojans have to win tonight for tournament reason. Yeah, we're kind of like on that bubble. We're like 10th seeded. Still got time to go, because this person's going to play that person, who's going to play that person, who's going to knock that person off, or might bring us up. But it would be better for us to go out and get that win, obviously, tonight. Taylor McCabe is one of their senior guards, went down for Iowa with an ACL tear. I'll send my prayers and my blessing to that player. It's always tough when you lose a player on your team or in just in general in basketball to injuries of ACL. I don't care if it's my ops. I don't like it. I feel bad for the kid. And however, they're pretty fortunate that Addie Dill, the freshman, has been when given a chance, has been showcasing her abilities for Iowa. So I think Addie Dill could be a factor, but I know that Hannah Stokey has been playing super well. I think Ava Hayden has been playing super well, and my favorite Chit Chat, right? So I can't wait to see the game tonight. But we're playing at home, makes a big difference. ESPN sort of seems to think so. They don't really have us. They actually have us winning by a slight. They actually have us favored by a slight margin. And I think that just has to do with like playing at home, and also with the stellar play of Kara Dunn, arguably the best small big guard, small forward big guard in the country. 86% field goal percentage. She's been stellar with her 3-ball getting in the paint. Taking advantage of smaller guards on her, powering it back up, getting rebounds, which is needed because we have an inexperienced young front court interior, which everybody here can relate to. All of you have experienced that, except I don't have any UCLA fans in here. LSU, you know what it's like. South Carolina in the past, you know what it's like. So that's where obviously we're struggling right there. But with with a hopefully healthy Kennedy, London, Malia, Jazz, Laura, Viv, the players that have been doing some things out there, if they play together, play their game, execute the offense and the defense that Coach Burns and Coach Gottlieb has designed, I'm sure it should be again, something that we can take this team to the fourth quarter. And as you know, this is where we get stymied. This is where this is where probably has kept them up at night. What's going on in the fourth quarter? One of the things I will have to say, and I can't say it anymore enough. I've said many, many times that I don't like to bring officials and refs um, into a situation, and as an excuse. It's not really an excuse. Everyone knows in the Big Ten we play tough defense. I think anyone who's played against us know that we have a strong defense. However, if you don't let us play our defense and you're calling God knows what ticky-tack, I mean, they've been calling, our turnovers, like unforced turnovers, things like offensive fouls that are just like, who did what? Yet the same thing is done to us, and we don't get those calls. What I have a problem with it stalls our momentum. It's always done right when we're gaining momentum. If you notice in the Michigan game, that whole 5-minute fiasco, and then they come and officials want to review something that they came out with nothing, which gave the coach for Michigan time because they couldn't figure out what we were doing. And it gave them time to figure out rest, most importantly, because we threw the press on as well, which I've been screaming for us to do. Even if we're being pressed, press them back. If you're behind, press them back. Number 2, call timeout when they start, when it appears that they're starting to come back on you or pull away from you. Reset, recalibrate, make the adjustments, and you see what ends up happening. Instead of a 2-minute drill, let's have a 4 to 5 minute drill. Let's have Kara go off, not in the 2 minutes where there's not enough time, but in the 4 or 5 minutes prior. And most importantly, when we have the lead, let's not take our foot off the gas, Trojans. Okay? So, I think the Trojans, yeah, we do. We're already in Chicago in the 10th spot. So you said to win tonight for tournament reasons. We're already in. Charlie Cream has us at 10th in the bracketology, whatever that means. However, obviously you want to go back up to 8 and higher, right? Listen, I'm just trying to squeeze whatever I can out of our team. Obviously, this is not the team that we expected to have going in, but we do have talent, and we do have talent. And when they play together and they play to the strength of their talent, we can play with anybody in the Big Ten. Although UCLA has too much in terms of interior, so threes would have to be a really big deal with us. Another thing I want to add is that. So you were saying Iowa loves threes. Yeah, I think I mentioned that. And another thing I want to add is that this is not in Iowa, so you shouldn't be able to beat, not in Iowa. That we should not be able to beat them. Is that what you're saying, Chicago? Well, I think that's why ESPN has us favored, is because we are at home. What would this mean if Iowa wins tonight? I don't think much. They're already ranked 8th. I don't know how much higher they could go. What is beating an unranked team supposed to do for Iowa? They better stay their little butt there, because they're going to go across town to UCLA and get their ass kicked. So, you're not, by Monday, it ain't going to make that much of a difference. Because if you're going to lose one or the other, I don't think you can come to California and beat both of us. And if they do, I will be very surprised. Very, very surprised. I'll be curious to see who you guys will play in the tournament, whether it's South Carolina or ends up being in the 4th number 1 seed. No, the bracketology already has that. Chicago, at one point we were in the same category as South Carolina. Then there was a time when we were in the same bracket as Texas. I want to say we was in a bracket of LSU, but I think we're in a bracket of like Louisville. or something to that effect. I think I remember thinking like, boy, we got to get past that first team, then play Louisville, or either was we started off with Louisville. So no, I don't think we're gonna see. And with as 10th, I don't think we're gonna see you guys at all. So there's that. So you won't, I really don't want to have that on my record that we play you twice without Juju and I don't want that on my record in the last couple of years. So I'll just say it. Not just Juju, but it's gonna be Juju, Ken, Jazz, Sanaya, Taya. That I don't want to see any more losses to any of you guys. To be honest with you. So, and yes, Juju makes that much of a difference. He is that much of a force in this country of basketball. You think that Iowa can beat UCLA? Yeah, they better be ready. I don't know what Iowa has over there that is causing them to play as well as they are. But I know both of us had problems over in Iowa last year, to be honest with you. And I think their confidence is up for whatever players were there last year. They're probably smelling themselves because they beat us. Damn near beat UCLA. But I think what I'm hearing, the Hawkeye crowd is crazy. It's like very, very loud in there. It's very, for us, it was under the guise of the retirement of Caitlin Clark's jersey. So it was a lot going on, for their players and for the crowd. So the crowd was like an X factor in both of those games. So I think UCLA wants to pay them back for that. I know damn sure we would. We want to take that back because they couldn't beat me. They could not. Iowa, moving forward after playing at home, they couldn't beat us or the Bruins last year. They're not a better team last year. I think the Trojans team you have coming in won't be able to go undefeated. I really don't think that's possible. I think it's very hard to go undefeated. And I'm not one to sit here to say that we would. I mean, I can say whatever I want, right? We can all have an opinion, right? We know what team does that all the time, that, fan-wise, that will straight say, we're going to go undefeated. That's what you're supposed to say, right? LSU fans have said, y'all was going to go undefeated, right? But I mean, I try to be realistic. I want to see the squad play. But on paper, I think it'd be hard-pressed for me to think that anybody in the Big Ten, based on what I know is coming, ACC, Big 12, SEC has improved. Will have improved. But I'm not afraid of SEC either. So, with them. And I believe Coach G would go out and get a big that everybody's wearing, even though I know Ted's like 6'4". But every player needs to have a backup, to their position, obviously to give them rest. And you don't want to have someone go down, get hurt, or in any kind of way and injured like we had to do with Kennedy. There was 3 games that without Kennedy that we were in, and those were Maryland, Oregon, and Minnesota that are higher ranked than we are, and we were right there in the game. Damn near in the game with Michigan at Michigan. So, which is crazy, right? So, we got a talented team. We have a good coach. I don't see how you couldn't be a good coach if you're in the game against these top teams. And notice they don't beat us with field goals. They beat us on the free throw line. Which, what is that telling you? Big Ten don't want to see. I'm not even gonna say it. I ain't gonna say what I'm gonna say about the Trojans. It'll become obvious when you see the 5 players on the court that I'm talking about, and the complexion of their skin. Let's just put it that way. I think the Trojan team you have coming in. Okay, Iowa is number 1 in defensive rebounds. Ooh, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. See, when it comes to rebounding with the Trojans, we don't got Rhea. We don't got Kiki, even though I don't even know how high Kiki's rebounds were. Juju crashing the boards, right? It's almost like we have to put four Trojans in there to get these boards, right? So, you know, Trojans got some cute ballers. Yes, we do. We got the face cards for sure. Number one in the country on that. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm told, and that's what I can see. That for sure. And they're tough. Those young ladies are. I speak to all of them after the game. I can't keep doing that all the time. They're gonna get tired of me. But Kennedy doesn't. Kennedy always give me a hug. But those are some really talented, very very good kids. Very good kids. I can tell. Just get along with each other, have a lot of fun. Um, Very respectful, but tough, tough, very tough, very tough. Yeah, so that's really about it. I want to just come up and say if you had any questions. I'm hoping that we can make this game exciting. Tune in on Peacock to watch it. Hopefully, I get back early enough to tell you what it was like in person. Um, we want to get a win. It would be a huge upset, but it was no huger than us taking down the number seven. Uh, what do you call it? What is Michigan? Michigan was like number seven, right? And did you see how we were playing that game at Michigan? So if they're seven and Iowa's eight, what? What? Nothing is impossible. Oh, Farrell, thank you, thank you, thank you. Farrell said, "Oh, not Trojans by 9 in overtime." Do you know how exciting that would be? Do you know how exciting that would be, Farrell, for us to do that just for some morale's sake? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it gets harder and harder to watch the game slip away the way it does. But the fight be so exciting. I'm serious. When you're in there and when we're in it, it'd be so exciting. Like it'd be like I don't know if people don't think we have it, or I don't know if they don't feel that they have it. But it just breaks your heart when you see us like turn it over or something that goes down like a foul and puts them to the line and can't put the ball back up in. It's just like it just breaks our heart, y'all. Or somebody just it's like when they play us, they're throwing up stuff that was like that'd be like, now how did that ball go in for that team? Like she just threw that up there and the ball goes in. It'd be crazy. I think that we have to, yes, King Lion, I agree with you. We have to win tonight so that we can get a rhythm. It's like we're trying to catch fire. You know how you're just trying to strike that match, you strike that match, and it's striking and it goes out and it goes out. That's what I feel like we're doing. It's like, ugh. And that's why I feel like Coach G is like, yes, you can try to say to a team like they got to push through. They got to push through. But there are times where it's like, you got to read that. You got to read your team's pulse. And there's just times where their ball, their passing stops being crisp. Balls are getting stolen in the passing lane, or you just do something silly, and it's basically because they're tired. And it's like, get give them a rest, put somebody else in, or call a timeout. Let them catch their breath. I promise you, like that, they just need a moment. And I see her doing that a little bit more, trying to help Dodgy not catch these cramps. But as players, they got to do their part too with the magnesium and with the hydration and the electrolytes, getting the rest that they need, uh, all of those things. And sometimes you can't sleep as an athlete. Sometimes you're all wound up. I used to get that too. I knew nothing about that in high school. Nothing about. Only thing I knew about to stop my calf cramps was salt tablets. That's what I had. That's what I needed, and that's what helped me. But everybody got to find what works for them. The Hawkeyes are favored by a point, but to me, the money should be on the Trojans. But then, did you see ESPN? I don't know where you got that by a point, but that's cool though. because in the ESPN they had us, right? You know, the little pie chart. I don't want to bring it up. I should, but I'm not. The little pie chart shows that I think us favorite 52.9. I think the Trojans are going to win this game by about 5 to 7. Oh my God. Farrell said we could win by 9. ESPN is right for the most part. Farrell said ESPN is right for the most part. Like you gotta, in order to make it not be right, you know, obviously you got to get out there and you gotta break those odds down. But that's where we are with it. I didn't really think that when I saw when I mean I think Hannah Stokey playing better towards as she's been doing has made them better. But I never thought that Iowa was that great. And then Maryland either. Maryland is just super duper scrappy. And when I saw Maryland lose to Washington, I was like, see, there you go. That's what we were doing when we were at the Galen Center. It's like, believe it or not, it was like, oh my God, we have this game. Even the Michigan game, when we scored 31 points in a quarter, I think probably the highest we've scored in a quarter this season. We had to score 31 points and hold them to whatever they had that quarter. And it was crazy. And then it was like, all of a sudden, the clock, the this, the reviews, the that. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are clearly cheating. You was looking at, oh, the betting markets. Got it, King Lion. I got you. So, you know, hey, traveling, getting settled, playing on it. You know, Iowa has never been to our court. You know, this is the first time they've ever been to this group of girls has been to this court. That's another thing that works in our favor. Yeah, we're new to the Big Ten. And you got to remember, we're new at going over and playing these teams on their home court. Pac-12, we didn't do that. So, so them coming over to SoCal, they played the same in the same atmosphere, same obvious arenas over and over and over. But when you come to play UCLA or you come to play the Trojans, this is their first time coming and playing in front of our crowd and, you know, on our home court. So everybody's kind of like at a disadvantage, right? So I don't even know if Kara Dunn has played Iowa last year. Of course, Kennedy, Malia, if Viv ever got on the court. Also London for UCLA, they played. She's played. So those are kind of like some advantages that they've seen one another. So yeah, yo, like tune in. Oh, well, I mean, I know there's other games going on, but keep an eye out on us. Come back with your thoughts and your opinion. I love to hear it. Either way, win or lose, you know, what do we need to do? What could have been done better? What had happened was, you know, oh yeah, they did this well, they did that well. You know, Trojans are, you know, catching rhythm, like King Lion said, whatever it is, you know, we're not tripping because we already know what the deal is. But at the same time, as a fan, you want to go out there and upset somebody. You want to go up, you want to go out there and obviously keep Coach G's winning streak going into the tournament alive. We are the defending champs of the regular season. We runner up for the Big Ten conference, and to just completely drop off, you know, the scales like that, it doesn't feel good. But what we're doing is we're looking at who's developing, who's getting better, what the pieces next year are going to look like coming in. But in the meantime, we're going to fight on. That's our motto. That's who we are. That's what we're about. And we're the third most watched team, according to Nielsen ratings, in women's hoops. Why is that? We're not even ranked. Why do you like watching the Trojans? Apparently, we're something to be watching because you're watching. So talk about our coach, talk about our lack of this and our lack of that, but people watch us. So we're entertaining to an extent, right? So, okay, got that out of the way. So, anyhow, yeah, I'm gonna shut this down right now. It's 10 o'clock. I'll be leaving in several hours to head down to Los Angeles to. I'm gonna watch them warm up today. I'm gonna get there early, watch them warm up, see how my girls. I usually can tell when I'm watching them warm up who's gonna be hot and who's not, whose head is in the game, who's feeling themselves, who's not, and then we'll go from there, y'all. All right. But thank you all again. Hit that like button on your way out. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Don't forget to share my channel, subscribe. Can't hurt. You don't have to be, you know, I know I may not be, the Trojans may not be obviously your team, but I appreciate you guys coming through and talking with, and watching us and talking about us and picking out your faves, whatever the case may be, because that shows that you're a real fan and you appreciate, and got love for the sport. One more thing. Hey, what's up, Jonathan? Y'all have Juju Kennedy-Smith, Jazzy Davidson. That's why y'all third most watched team. I guess you're trying to say newbie Jazzy Davidson. Well, we'll probably be the most watched team when you see Sanaya and Taya added to that. So it's just going to be entertaining basketball. It's going to be innovative, and it's going to be something that you probably, how they play will be like. It's like why I watch LSU. I just watch LSU because I just love the way Jada and Flaw and Michaela and Lay and Takai Johnson, and I could just name them, like Grace Knox. I just love the way they get after it. That's why I be watching LSU. They're entertaining to me. Oh yeah, I'm tuning in when they come to USC. Oh yeah, you turn it in, Jonathan. They're gonna have so much chemistry. It's crazy. It's gonna be crazy, and you're gonna be surprised because everyone thinks that it's all guards or whatever. But you're gonna be surprised what she has in store for them in terms of like a pro style offense and how they, and just how they get after it, and and just the aggressive. I just love Juju because I love the aggressive attacking dog that she is as a guard. Like I love guards like that, and you don't see that a lot. You see Liv McGill going this way, that way. Most people go east to west. Ju goes north to south, and when I see a north to south guard, I'm intrigued in the women game. Playing through contact, that's a dog right there. So yeah, stay tuned, Jonathan. Hit that like button for me, bro. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Invite others to come to the channel. I will read your comments. We'll communicate back and forth. You tell me Jonathan, what's your call tonight? Iowa or USC? Number 8 Iowa or unranked USC? Who do you got winning? If you can, put it in the chat before you leave. I'll see it if you don't respond before I close that out. Tune in to Live Mike's channel. If you haven't already, become a member to Live Mike's channel. He'll probably, while I'm at the game, probably may cover the Trojans in our absence, right? In my absence, on his channel, and give you his take if he does, or he'll probably have like a post game with me or post game on his channel. So shout out to you, Live Mike. So, other than that, I'm out, and y'all have a great day. Oh, hold on. Jonathan said, gotta be honest, Juju, based off the lost energy that USC, I'm going to have to go with Iowa. Hey, but go off the last energy. Did you see how we played the number 7 Michigan? So you should have said something like, do we have someone to stop Hannah Stokey? Do we have someone to match up against Ava Hayden? Do we have someone to match up against Addie Deal or Chit Chat? Talk hoops. Like, what is it about Iowa that you feel? Put that in the chat for me. All right. I'm gone, y'all. Peace.